Jeep the Mac 2023. Once again, we made our way up north across the bridge to rally with several hundred other Jeeps in the town of St. Ignace. A lot of really cool rigs at the event. That night, all the Jeeps drove across the bridge and back, and then the following morning, we were up and at it early, and we made our way over to Drummond Island. It takes about an hour to get from St. Ignace to the ferry service. It's a beautiful drive along the lake shore, and then it's just a short ferry ride over to Drummond Island. Now, if you've never been to the island but you want to check it out, I would certainly recommend organizing your first trip around the Jeep the Mac event. It's a good way to introduce yourself to what Drummond has to offer. The cool thing about going during Jeep the Mac weekend is there will be plenty of people around, plenty of Jeeps around for help if you need it. There are quite a few organized events on the island that you can choose to participate in or choose not to participate in. The ferry ride is already booked. You already have your ticket. It's a good way to get yourself acclimated to what Drummond has to offer. And I gotta tell you, there's no way you will be able to do everything that you want to do on the island in one day. So you may want to plan a multi-day trip around Jeep the Mac event. They have free access to Turtle Ridge Off-Road Park, which you can see us checking out here. They have a poker run. There's a mud bog event, vendor setup. There's a lot going on during Jeep the Mac weekend. And Drummond Island does have a Jeep Badge of Honor trail, South Marblehead Loop. Now, we ran that trail a few years ago. It's nothing too crazy. I ran it in a stock two-door JL Rubicon. I did have to stack rocks in a few places to get over some of the climbs, but nothing that a stock rig couldn't navigate. On this trip, instead of running Marblehead again, we decided to check out Turtle Ridge Off-Road Park since you get free admission as part of your Jeep the Mac package. You can see us cruising some of the trails here. A huge area to explore. We only touched the tip of the iceberg here. Would love to come back and spend an entire day at this park checking out some of the more technical trails. Turtle Ridge has two sections. The section we ran had some green, blue, and black trails all mixed together. We checked out the other section briefly, but I gotta tell you, the water crossings looked pretty darn intense. Nothing that we wanted to get into on this trip, so we quickly backed out and bolted. Now, there are quite a few trails on Drummond Island to check out, but if you want to stay on the pavement, you can certainly do that as well. There are bars, restaurants, gift shops. As I mentioned before, there's a Jeep the Mac poker run, and that entire run is a paved deal. So you don't have to take the Jeep off-road if you don't feel comfortable, but if you're coming to Drummond Island, I would highly recommend running some trails while you're there. We had quite a bit of fun in the park navigating some of these rocky stair-step climbs. You can see my buddies JL Rubicon on 35s make the climb. We also had my Rubicon running 35s. We had a JL Willys on 33s and a Gladiator Mojave on 33s. All Jeeps were able to navigate the obstacles in the park easily. There were some really tight sections of trails in the park, and we all had to navigate delicately and carefully, especially our friend in the Gladiator. And I can't even imagine trying to get a Bronco through these trails. Too tight. Fossil Ledges is on the far northern tip of Drummond Island. It's been on my bucket list to visit for years now. I've seen video, drone footage, and I knew it was gorgeous and I knew I had to go there. We finally made the time on this trip to go to Fossil Ledges. The trail to get there is nothing extreme. It's a rocky trail with some water crossings. Now, it's been a relatively dry spring here in Michigan this year, so I could imagine if it was wet, if we'd had a lot of rain, those water crossings could be pretty intense. Even with the dry spring, we had water up to the rock rails on my 392. For the rest of this video, I'm just going to let the GoPro footage roll so you can see what the trail looks like to get out to Fossil Ledges. If you get bored of this, navigate to whatever timestamp I put on the screen here to have a look at the money shot drone footage from Fossil Ledges.
Have a good one.
I'm going to tell you, if you make your way out there and you have a drone, definitely bring it with you, because there's no better way to experience the beauty of the Fossil Ledges than from overhead. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell all of your Jeep fanatic friends about the channel. Take care.